I'm here in Cannes. We just heard from Alain and Botton speaking about advertising, creativity. You made a link between art and advertising. Is that a true link? What is the liaison?
Absolutely. What advertising does is to sell ideas, and we tend to think, what advertising does is to sell products, and we tend to think, oh, well, that's very different from selling concepts like, love that art might sell. But I'm suggesting that really it's the same thing. What you're doing is selling a concept, and that we should respect advertising as we do art when it's selling us something we actually need, and that's important. At that point, advertising becomes as great as art.
But the fundamental problem you were saying is that most companies are selling at the bottom end of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Is that something that can be overcome? Is there a way that we can move companies up the hierarchy of needs instead of selling, you were saying, to desires rather than needs?
Take something like psychotherapy, right? Psychotherapy is going to be the growth area of the 21st century because it's the way in which we interpret ourselves, understand ourselves, etc. Who's offering psychotherapy now? People in their kitchens, in their basements, in their spare bedrooms. It's a cottage industry. Imagine if P&G took over therapy and they said, right, we're going to organize this, we're going to commodify it and systematize it. It's a fanciful idea, but not a crazy one. The closest example we have to a commodified, well-organized system of touching the inner being is religion. If you're not religious, you're kind of out there on your own. You're dealing with cottage industries, but that can't afford advertising. But I think the great promise of the 21st century is some of these inner needs will get organized, get commercialized, get commodified, and therefore be able to be clients of advertising agencies.
So the next Mark Zuckerberg will be a philosopher?
There's no reason why not, in a sense that not a philosopher, but that they might be offering people things which are higher up that famous pyramid of needs. Things like friendship, community, self-understanding. These things, there is money to be made in a good way from these areas of life as much as there is from selling people trainers and cement.
In terms of the lack of follow-through or promising something that isn't actually delivered, how do you feel that social media fits into that spectrum? Is it offering that companionship or friendship? What you were saying, Epicurus was saying, was one of the necessary things. Does it actually offer that friendship?
Yeah, it doesn't completely not, but like many tools, it has to be used with care. So it is a promise of sociability, but to actually fully deliver it, we have to learn how to use that tool, and that's something that we as global citizens are still struggling to know how to deal with. So it's like having a dinner party, right? You can have a dinner party and actually no one communicates properly. You've made all this effort, you've got all the food ready, you've got all your friends around, but actually there has been no proper communal effort. You could look sometimes at its worst at social media and say, it's like that dinner party where everybody's kind of around the table, but the soul is not communicating with the soul, as it were. And that's this further step. We're at the hosting the dinner party stage, and we've yet got to the next stage.
Okay, finally, you mentioned some things about creativity that people should do to be creative. They are put a skull on their desk.
Remember death, put things in perspective, ultimately accommodate with failure. Failure is the great inhibitor of creativity, and that we've got this idea out there that good creativity can be achieved without difficulty, without failure, without panic. It can't. It demands failure, panic, revulsion, envy. All of these things are part of a good creative life. So we need to steel ourselves for a little bit of difficulty if we're to create good work.
And you described the term noble failure, so let's aim for noble failure.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.